الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، خاتم النبيين، سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الصادقين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. أما بعد، فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم: يا ابنتي فاطمة بزة مني، من آذاها فقد آذاني، ومن سرها فقد سرني. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight that we have gathered in this majalis, we have dedicated it for the iftar sabab of Marhuma Sayyida Nasreen Fatima Rizvi, who passed on from this world about 6 weeks ago, and hence we are marking the 40th. And Sayyida Marhuma was actually the mother of Sayyid Taha Rizvi, and we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the Marhuma with a place in Jannah among the 14 Masumeen. Please just remember the Marhuma with one Surah Fatiha. The hadith that I have recited is the hadith of our Holy Prophet, in which he says, Fatima bazatun minni, man adhaha faqad adhani, wa man sarraha faqad sarrani. This hadith is common in all the schools of thought. If you find in their books, you will see it appears there. It appears both in our books and their books in various derivatives. Sometimes when you read, you will read it as Fatima bazatun minni, man adaha faqad adani, wa man habba faqad habbani. And we see these narrations which has a particular meaning. What is the meaning? Fatima is a part of me. Whoever is angry with her is angry with me, and whoever is pleased with her is pleased with me. Now when the Holy Prophet is saying Fatima is a part of me, we all know that she is his daughter. So he's trying to express something more than just the relationship of father and daughter. He's trying to explain that my way is Fatima's way, my stand is Fatima's stand, which means what I would do, Fatima also would do. And hence he's showing us the position and the infallibility, the Masoom, how Masoom Hazrat Fatima is. And the hadith continues to say that whoever angers her, angers me, and whoever pleases her, pleases me. These two statements give us and show us what the position of Bibi Fatima is. Because we know the Holy Prophet, when he says something, it is not out of his own emotion. It is of course what Allah has decreed him. So hence, when we see this verse and this hadith, it is talking about and we're understanding the position of Hazrat Fatima Salamullahi alayha. The first statement in the hadith is very straightforward. Fatima is a part of me, which means we understand that he's talking about his stand is Fatima's stand. The second two statements of whoever angers her, angers me, and whoever pleases her, pleases me, it needs a thorough examination. Because when you examine these two statements especially, then you will understand the maqam of Hazrat Fatima. Then you will understand the position, the status of Hazrat Fatima. So when we want to go and examine this hadith in very particular detail, we enter into what is known as the science of hadith. Now we all know there's so many subject matters which have its own science. For example, biology, chemistry, physics, astronomy, so on and so forth. all these sciences have principles, and without those principles, you will not be able to understand the subject matter. You pick any science, but remove the principles of that science, you will not understand what the teacher in school is talking. So likewise, the hadith has its own science, which is known as the science of hadith, in which there are certain principles without which you will not understand the hadith if you don't apply those principles.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
Let us examine first of all, when we enter into the science of hadith, what is a hadith? Hadith, or a narrative, it is a narration that has been mentioned by Rasulullah, and it has been written down by his ashab or the tabi'un, the ones who narrated it from the ashab. So the hadith has come down because hadith has specified a lot of things. It has specified the sunnah of the Holy Prophet. It has explained what the Holy Quran states about certain things. It has explained us how to perform certain deeds and what we need to do. And hence it has been very important, and hence we require to enter and understand and enter into this what we know as the world of ahadith. Now in this world of ahadith, there are actually two schools of thought. Now here when I say schools of thought, I don't mean the schools of thought within the Islam. I mean here the ideology, the schools of thought within it, the ideology of the world of hadith. The first school of thought is those who only take Quran as sufficient. You must have heard Quran kafi hai mere liye. You know, the Quran is sufficient for me. This is one school of thought who say that no, hadith is not something to follow. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the great, the Rahman, the Rahim has mentioned in the Holy Quran is what we need to follow. That is it. But there is a second school of thought which says that no, Quran is the divine book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which has all what humans need to know, and we also have the hadith which go hand in hand, the sunnah that goes hand in hand together with the Quran. Because remember, there is one thing that is known as, or there is a saying that not all prophets came with the book, but all books came with the prophet. Which means there was always a need for somebody to come and explain the book. The book never came on its own and explain the book. Hence there's always been an importance of having somebody, and we have seen with all the four books, there's always a prophet, and the last one was Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who brought the Holy Quran. During the time of the Holy Prophet, when the revelations came down of the Holy Quran, the Holy Prophet encouraged people to write down whatever that he narrated. The reason why is because we know something that is written down is concrete evidence, and that can live on for generations and people will be able to follow. If I were to just hear what my teacher says in school, then I will not be able to follow. But if I write down the note, I take it back home, I can always follow it. So hence the Holy Prophet always encouraged his ashab to write down. Why? Because we see in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also tells us the same thing. And you see in Surah Baqarah ayat number 282, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu إذا تديناهم بدينه إلى أجل مسمى فاكتبوه. What does it mean? All you who believe, when you contract a debt, a loan, when you have a loan between people for a fixed term, write it down. And then the ayat continues to say that let what you have written down stand as evidence to protect you. Here Allah is decreeing us that when we enter into any contract, whether it's commercially, the ayat continues, if you read the whole ayat, that even if it's a commercial contract, you must write it down as the agreement. Why? So that the written evidence will do justice to you, both to the seller and of course to the buyer. And hence, the Holy Prophet, when he encouraged people to write it down, the ashab said to write down. Of course, we know the most common one, of course, is Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. We have also Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. We have Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As. They have all written books as well when they narrated it. They just jotted down the notes, and those hadiths were developed then further on. So when people used to write down these hadiths, there was one thing that they also used to do, is write down the context in which the Holy Prophet said the hadith. Because knowing the hadith is one thing, but knowing the context in which the Holy Prophet said that hadith is another. Why? Because that context will help you understand what that hadith means. So people used to write that down.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
But what happened after Rasulullah passed away? The first caliph, what did he do? he asked his daughter, please bring me all the hadiths that I have written, because even the first caliph, all the ashab were writing. The first caliph also wrote some 500 hadiths, according to some narrations, where he comes and he tells his daughter, please bring me those 500 hadiths. So his daughter brought it to him. And what did he do? He ordered for it to be burned. It is mentioned that the first caliph ordered for the hadiths which he wrote, which Abu Bakr wrote himself, to be burned. And when the daughter asked him that, oh father, why are you doing this? What is his reply? I'm afraid that people will forget the Holy Quran and only follow the hadiths. The divine book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people will forget and follow the hadiths only. You will not be able to understand, because when you want to understand what Holy Quran says, you need the hadiths. If you have only the hadiths but not the Holy Quran to tell you what, for example, when you're asked to perform the salah, but how to perform the salah is in the sunnah, is in the hadith. So hence, it's always important that the context in which it was written is very important. But what did Abu Bakr do? He always discarded all the hadiths. Came the second caliph. What did he do? He did not only discard the hadiths, he also put a clamp down on those who narrated it. Not only those who reported it, even those who narrated it. And that became a problem, because people now thought twice or even sometimes thrice before even narrating the hadith of Rasulullah, because they were thought that they would be clamped down by Umar. So what did they do? They decided to write something that would please the Khalif, and that set a new trend for all the future Khulafa to follow that if somebody wants to write something that would please him, hence they would accept it. If the hadith does not please the present Khalif, then of course the thing is rejected. Just we see, for example, Abu Huraira. Abu Huraira was the governor of Bahrain, and he was enjoying a lavish life. But to protect and to ensure that he enjoys a lavish life, he would always send narration that, oh, the Holy Prophet says this and that. And then we learn that he's got how many hadiths? Abu Huraira has narrated 5,000 over hadiths. And if you calculate that, that's more than 400% of what Imam Ali, Abu Bakr, Umar and Usman have put together. And of course, when you read the biography of Abu Huraira, it's quite lengthy. I went through it a couple of weeks back, and you will understand that this person, oh my goodness, is terrible. It's really terrible. Anyway, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali. Not only was the hadiths changed to reflect or to protect or to please the present Khulafa, sometimes the hadiths were maintained, but the context in which the hadith was mentioned was changed. Meaning what the Holy Prophet said, the hadith maintained, but the context was changed. They wrote it down a different context. For example, there's a famous hadith that says that Abu Talib, the father of Imam Ali alayhi salam, passed away as a kafir. It is in the books. What do they say? The Holy Prophet came when Abu Talib passed away. The Holy Prophet came to Abu Talib and said that, oh Abu Talib, renounce the religion, recite the kalima and proclaim that there is none to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then they say that then the ayat of Surah Barat, ayat number 113 was revealed, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, telling the Prophet, it is not fitting for the Prophet and those who believe that they should pray for forgiveness for the kafir, pagans, even though they be of the kin, that means the relative, after it has become clear to them that they are companions of the fire. The Holy Prophet was asking forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Abu Talib, and the companions in the books, the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah in their books, they have written that the ayat was revealed about this Holy Prophet, about Abu Talib. Now, the question, the ayat in question here is Surah Barat, ayat number 113. Now let us examine this ayat first, or rather the surah. Surah Barat is actually a Madinite chapter, which means it was revealed in Medina, except for the last two ayats, which is ayat number 128 and 129, which were Makkah. The whole chapter was revealed in Medina. And when was it revealed? It was revealed in the year 9 AH. In the year 9 AH, which was when? 9 years after Hijrah. Right? When did Abu Talib pass away? 3 years before Hijrah. So how is it possible that Abu Talib passes away, but an ayat reveals about him 12 years later. And this is not, I'm not talking about from our books. If you open their books, you will find the same thing, that Surah Barat was revealed in the month of Rajab in year 9 AH. And when was this? During the expedition, after the expedition of Tabuk, which was in the year 9 AH. At that time, the Holy Prophet, when this revelation came of Surah Barat, what did the Holy Prophet do? He told Abu Bakr that take this Surah Barat and go and give it when you will be the Emir of the Hajj, you go and give and share this verses of the Holy Quran. But then Abu Bakr was not able to successfully do it. He was called back, and Imam Ali was sent and asked to share with the people this Surah Barat, proving that the Surah Barat was revealed in the year 9 AH, not during the time of the death of Abu Talib. Now, when we look again in Sahih al-Bukhari, this narration was narrated by somebody by the name of Musayyab. Now, when you look at again Sunni traditions, when they talk about who Musayyab was, or rather, he says Musayyab was somebody who converted into Islam after the conquest of Makkah, and hence he was not even present during the time of Abu Talib's death. Again, the same narration is defeated by the narrator and also by the content itself. This is how people change the content, the context in which the hadith was written. Not only one, there's so many. I'll give you a second example. Samur ibn Jundab. He has narrated a hadith that when Ibn Muljim killed our Imam Ali alayhi salam, Samur ibn Jundab said that the ayat which when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that those who sell their souls in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was revealed for his sake, in reference to Ibn Muljim. Why? Because he killed Imam Ali. This is Samur ibn Jundab's narration. Now when we look at that, at this narration, what do we find? When you look at the books, you find that Samur ibn Jundab was actually contracted by Muawiyah, first offered 100,000 dirhams to go and narrate this hadith. He refused. He said Muawiyah increased it to 200,000 dirhams. He still refused and asked until 400,000 dirhams was given to him. Then he went and declared that this ayat was in reference to Ibn Muljim. And at that time when that happened, the Kharijites, as we know, the Kharijites whom Ibn Muljim was from, started to believe that now they are the ones whom Allah is referring to as the ones who sell their souls for the pleasure of Allah. When actually, where was this ayat revealed for? It was revealed for Imam Ali. When? When he slept on the bed of the Holy Prophet, when the Holy Prophet left from Makkah for Hijrah towards Medina. That is the one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning for. The soul that sells himself for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was Imam Ali on that bed.
Nare Haidari,
Ya Ali,
Nare Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali
Muhammad. So this is the way how contexts were changed. When we see it further, that these kinds of false narrations, both the hadiths as well as sometimes when the context were changed, continued throughout the Khulafa until the time of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Who was he? He was the Caliph during the time of the 5th Imam. What did he do? First thing that we know he did is return further back to Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam. He stopped the cursing of Amir al-Mu'mineen from the Mimbar and among others. So he realized that there's a lot of difference in opinion from so many narrations that the hadith is mentioned, this context is different. The same hadith is mentioned, but the context is something else. So he realized and he said, this thing has to stop. So he said, he ordered that people now go and find out which is the correct Sahih hadith is and start to narrate it and make a compilation. So a lot of the people at that time started to write books. They wrote books collecting hadiths, of course, what they have access to, and they started to write their books. Along the way came somebody by the name of Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari. He came at the time of around the 10th and 11th Imam. He had a friend by the name of Ibn Ishaq. Ibn Ishaq told him that it is important, because of all the different kinds of narrations written, it is important that we sit down, find out, and compile the Sahih hadiths, which are authentic. So Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari set off a journey for 20 years, going through around several Islamic countries and finding out the hadiths, of course, which were accessible to him. He says that out of 600,000 hadiths, how many? 600,000 hadiths, only 7,000 ended up in his book. Imagine, from the time of the Holy Prophet until the time of the 10th, 11th Imam, there were 600,000 hadiths which were compiled, and he went through all of them, and only 7,275 made to his book Sahih al-Bukhari. What does Sahih al-Bukhari mean? Sahih, authentic. Al-Bukhari meaning I, Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari, feel that in my opinion, these hadiths 7,275 are Sahih, the rest should be discarded. And hence, after that, we have other developments. We have Muslim ibn Hajjaj, who the author of Sahih Muslim, and of course Al-Tirmizi, and so on and so forth. So that is how the development of the hadiths happened in those times among the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah brothers. Of course, the same thing was happening with us, but of course, we had the guide of the Imams who always confined and collected the Sahih hadiths, and alhamdulillah, we have several books that lived on. In fact, during those times, there were about 400 books which were known as usul, written by the Shia scholars during those times. And out of those 400, they were all kept in the city in Iraq. But there was a time when one of the conquerors of Turkey, he attacked Baghdad and burned the city. So the library also was affected during that time, and about almost 200 books were discarded, and hence only just over 200 books made it to our times, out of which only about 12 or 13 are in the Tehran library, which is accessible. So hence, in this development that we have seen, that the hadiths have been narrated still, there were two contexts in which they were narrated. One from the Shia and Ahlul Bayt scholars, and one from the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah brothers. Now we will see one of the hadiths that have been affected and how it is affected until today. The hadith which I mentioned of Holy Prophet, Fatima bazatum minni, man adaha faqad adani, wa man sarra faqad sarrani. We have seen in our books that this hadith, when was it narrated? When was it given by the Holy Prophet? It was given by the Holy Prophet when there was a time when the Holy Prophet had asked his companions, can you tell me what is the best thing for a woman? What is the best gift, or what is the best thing for a woman? The Ashab then went away, and he said that Imam Ali, of course, knowing the answer, came and told Hazrat Fatima, this is the question that the Holy Prophet has asked the Ashab. Then the Hazrat Fatima came in front of and she told the Holy Prophet in front of the Ashab that what is the best thing for a woman? Is that for a woman to not be able to not see the man, and for the man not to see the woman. And that is when the Holy Prophet said, Fatima bazatum, which means Fatima is a part of me, which means Fatima's way, whatever that she said, is what exactly I was going to tell you. That is the reason, that is the fact of why the Holy Prophet mentioned Fatima bazatum. And then he goes on to say, Man adaha faqad adani, whoever angers her. Why did he say whoever angers her? Now remember, he is coming here and telling us the position of Hazrat Fatima. When he says whoever angers her, angers me, he is telling the position of Bi Fatima, that Bi Fatima is not the type of person who would do such kind of deeds that somebody would be angry on her. And then again, it does not stop there. The hadith continues to say, whoever pleases me, whoever pleases her, pleases me. Which means again that if she were to be pleased by somebody's deeds, like could be anybody, then it would please him. If anybody were to anger, and Bi Fatima would always be angry, if she were to be angry, would be only angry for the sake of, for whatever that makes Allah angry, she would be angry. Which means if anybody were to deviate from the path of Rasul, from the path of Allah and the message of Rasulullah, then she would get angry, not just otherwise. But now we turn and open Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. And what do they say about the same Fatima bazatum minni hadith? They say, I want you to listen to this hadith very carefully, give some attention of time, because we're going to dissect this hadith and examine the hadith carefully. They say that there was a time when Imam Ali, when he was married to Bi Fatima, he went to somebody by the name of Ahadith ibn Hisham. Ahadith ibn Hisham was the brother of Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl, as we all know, was one of the staunch enemies of Islam. He was the likes of Abu Lahab and Abu Sufyan. And Abu Jahl was somebody whom we know, we have heard that when the Rasulullah would go down to sujood, when he stood at namaz, Abu Jahl would throw intestines of sheep onto him. And Hazrat Fatima would come and clean Rasulullah, and that is why Rasulullah named Bibi Fatima Abiha, the mother of her father, because she used to take great care of Rasulullah. Anyway, moving back to the hadith. So it is said that Imam Ali went to the person by the name of Haris ibn Hisham and told Haris that I would like to marry the daughter of Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl had two children. One by the name of Arqam, the other one by the name of Juwairiya, or in some hadiths it says it's Khataba. It is said that Imam Ali went to Haris and told him that I would like to propose for the daughter of Abu Jahl. Can you please take the proposal to your community and also to Rasulullah? And hence Haris goes to Rasulullah and tells Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah, I, Haris ibn Hisham, from the Banu Mahzum tribe. Banu Mahzum tribe or clan was the clan of Abu Jahl, by the way, which was the same clan of Ammar bin Yasir. As you all know, I think at all of places I mentioned that Abu Jahl was the one who killed the father of Ammar, that is Yasir, and of course the mother of Ammar, which was Sumayya. They were from the Banu Mahzum tribe. So he comes to the Holy Prophet and says, O Messenger of Allah, I am from the Banu Mahzum tribe, and your son-in-law, that is Ali ibn Abi Talib, has asked for our daughter's hand, that is Juwairiya. At that point of time, they say, Bibi Fatima came out and told Rasulullah that, O Rasulullah, you do not get angry. You generally do not get angry. But the son of Abu Talib has made me angry. They are saying this is what Hazrat Fatima is saying. That the son of Abu Talib has been angry. And then in response to that, what does the Holy Prophet say? The Holy Prophet says that I allowed Ibn Razi to marry my stepdaughter Zainab on the condition that he would not marry somebody else. How dare does the son of Abu Talib do that to my daughter? Wallahi la adhan, wallahi la adhan, wallahi la adhan. I do not accept, I do not accept, I do not accept. And then he continues to say that, listen carefully, it is not for me to make halal what is haram, and it is not for me to make haram what is halal, but Fatima baldatun minni. Man adaha faqad adani. He's saying that it's not for him to make halal what is haram, but Fatima is a part of me, whoever angers her, angers me. And then he continues to say that if the son of Abu Talib wants to marry Juwairiya, then he has to divorce my daughter, and then he can go and marry anybody. I've mentioned about 4 or 5 parts of this, and we will examine this one by one. Before that, please recite Salawat ala Muhammad wa alihi. We will first look at who is it narrated by. We will look at whether this hadith was it mentioned again by the Holy Prophet, or was it mentioned again narrated by somebody else. What does the Holy Prophet say about Imam Ali, and does the hadith contradict to the behavior of the Holy Prophet? We will examine this hadith in these four contexts, in these 4 principles. Now we are entering to the science. The first one, who is it narrated by? If you often say Bukhari or say Muslim, in both of them it is there. It is narrated by somebody by the name of Miswar bin Makrama. Now when you look at the history about narrators, in fact our several scholars have come up with a book, Ilm Rijal or Kitab al-Rijal, which gives us the biography of all the narrators. Why? Because our scholars, alhamdulillah, whenever they studied in hadith, they look at who the narrators were. They look at the biography of the narrators. Why? Because they wanted to ascertain the authenticity of that hadith. So we first look at who is the narrator, Miswar bin Makrama. If you look at the narrations of, if you look at the scholars, all of them have agreed, both our side and of course our brother's side. They have never argued or they have never had any disagreement about the birth date of Miswar, which was sometime just after the Hijrah. Okay. This story of Imam Ali proposing the daughter of Abu Jahl and this incident is said to have been probably around 6 or 7 years after Hijrah, which means Miswar ibn Makrama was only about 6 or 7 years old. And if you look at the hadith again, in that hadith he says that I heard the Holy Prophet say so and so, and then he says I was an adult. Now tell me, where would you see in any hadith somebody mentioning in hadith and then saying I was an adult? Like, why does he want to qualify that he was an adult? So either Miswar bin Makrama at the 6 years of age attained Baligh. So you see, already when you look at this, the narrator itself is questionable. And then again, if you see other historians, they have said that this person, Miswar, was somebody who hated Sayyidina Ali. Hence, how would you ever expect him to say something good? In the same chain of narration, there's somebody by the name of Al-Baghdadi, Al-Karabi Al-Baghdadi, who said Murtaza Mutahari in the biography of this Miswar, in the biography of this person, says that he was among the haters of Ali ibn Abi Talib. In fact, whenever Imam Ali used to fight a war, this fellow was always on the opposite side fighting against Imam Ali. So how would you expect somebody to be narrating a hadith when he's always against that person? And hence already there is weakness in the source of the hadith. In our books we then learn that at the time of Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, Imam Jafar Sadiq, as we all know, it was during that time that he was free of being able to spread Islam. Hence, at that time he clarified and told the people that what you have heard that Imam Ali had proposed to Abu Jahl's daughter is completely unreliable and it never happened. It was clarified during Imam Jafar Sadiq. Of course, that ended in our books, but then not in their books. Now, we ask the second question: was this incident mentioned again after the Holy Prophet passed away, during the first Caliph's time? In any of the engagements, whether through engagements of discussions or what, was there ever this history repeated that somebody is telling that, oh Ali ibn Abi Talib, don't you remember that you angered the Prophet by proposing for the daughter of Abu Jahl? Do we see that in history? No. During the time of the second Caliph's time, Umar's time, again you don't see. When there was the Shura of 6, the Council of 6 to elect the next Khalifa, and there was none. There was no mention when they were proposing Ali ibn Abi Talib to be the Khalif. There was no objection that no, he had angered the Holy Prophet. But when we see that there were several times when the Holy Prophet wanted to explain the position of Bibi Fatima, he would say that Fatima basically minni. How? There's one time that there was somebody by a blind man who came, and the Bibi Fatima dressed herself and made sure that she was in hijab. The Holy Prophet asked her that why are you wearing hijab when he's a blind man? Of course, Holy Prophet knew. It's a question for us to learn. What was his answer? What was her answer? He says he is blind, so he cannot see me, but I can see him, and hence I should be able to appear in such a way that when I'm in front of any man, I should appear the same. And it is a lesson for all of us. Sometimes we can find a blind man who could be faking it. And then it's always important to observe the hijab. It was at that time that the Holy Prophet also said, Fatima Badr, which means Fatima's way is my way. Anyway, so this incident did not happen at any of the times. Now, the third question: what has the Holy Prophet said about Imam Ali? Now remember, this story they're saying is about 6 to 7 years after Hijrah. There was during the last days, rather last few times before the Holy Prophet passed away, there were wars going on, and the Holy Prophet always used to send somebody in command to fight the enemy. So he sent in one of the wars when they sent for the Bani Zubayr against the Bani Zubayr tribe. He sent who? He sent Ali ibn Abi Talib, Ali ibn Abi Talib to head. And he put Khalid ibn Walid as the second in command, and Buraida on the other flank. Now, Khalid ibn Walid and Buraida were known as to be those who were against Imam Ali ibn Talib. So much so that even during those times when he used to fight, they would disobey Imam Ali. Imam Ali used to have to scold them so many times. So came a point of time that during this fight, they won the war against Bani Zubayr. So when they won the war, of course, you get booty, you get the Mal Ghanimat. So, according to Holy Quran, 1/5 of the Mal Ghanimat belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His Prophet, His near relatives, the miskin, and so on and so forth. Among the booty, what was taken away from when the beginning of the war was the daughter of the leader of that tribe, and the Holy Prophet among other women. So Imam Ali at that time chose a maid for himself as booty. Now in history it is narrated that she was a very beautiful person, and hence Khalid ibn Walid and Buraida got jealous. So Khalid ibn Walid said that this is the time I need to go and complain to the Holy Prophet. So he comes to the Holy Prophet and tells the Holy Prophet. Now when he was coming, before that he met Umar. And Umar asked him, what is it that you have used for the Holy Prophet? By the way, sorry. Khalid ibn Walid wrote a letter to the Holy Prophet and sent it with Buraida. Buraida is the one who came to the Holy Prophet, and before reaching the Holy Prophet, he met Umar. And Umar asked him, where are you going? I'm going to see the Holy Prophet. What is it that you want to see him? He said, I brought a letter from Khalid ibn Walid. He said, what is the letter about? Umar said, it's a complaint against Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, oh, please. It's going to be a complaint against Imam Ali ibn Talib. Please go and complain. We can see that the enmity of Imam Ali was there even before the death of the Holy Prophet, among the Asli. Buraida reaches to the Holy Prophet and he reads the letter of Khalid ibn Walid, and he explains what Imam Ali has done. And what is the Holy Prophet's reply? He says, "Oh Buraida, what kind of hypocrisy are you showing? Don't you know that what right I have, Ali also has?" And then he also says that Ali ma'al haq wal haqqu ma Ali. Ali is with the truth and the truth is Ali. This is what the Holy Prophet is saying about Imam Ali. You expect that when just now we go into this context, that somebody who has angered the Holy Prophet a few years ago by proposing for somebody else's daughter, today would say something like this about Imam Ali. He would appoint him as a successor after him. And several other, if you see the history of the Holy Prophet, Imam Ali was appointed as several top positions during the time of Imam Ali, during the time of the Holy Prophet. And hence that jealousy, that enmity had begun even before that time. Anyway, we move on. So now we understand that the Holy Prophet has always spoken positive about Imam Ali. There's so many narrations, I just to mention this for one.
Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad salawat.
The Hadith also, according to their books, the Hadith continues to say, the final word, that the daughter of the enemy will not live with the daughter of the Prophet, the Messenger of Allah. Here, the daughter of the enemy is referring to daughter of Abu Jahl. Will not live together with the daughter of Messenger of Allah. He's referring to Fatima. That means in one house, Imam Ali cannot have the two of them. That is the saying. Now let's think about this narration. What does it say? The daughter of the enemy will not live with the daughter of the Messenger of Allah. Now, isn't this against the tradition of the Holy Prophet himself? Because the Holy Prophet himself had married who? Habiba. Who was she? The daughter of Abu Sufyan. Right? So if he had married the daughter of an enemy, then why stop somebody else marrying the daughter of an enemy? And then again, Abu Jahl, who had a son Akrama and Juwairiya, were both converted to Islam. And Akrama and he always told his ashab never to remind Akram, the son of Abu Jahl, about his father, because the father can always be different. The son can always be different from the father. The son does not inherit the qualities or the personality not necessarily inherit the personalities or the beliefs of the father. And hence, this is what is been said. So how can there be that correlation? Because we've seen Yazid, the son of Yazid Muawiyah, was not as his father. Harun Rashid, his son, the son of Harun was the lover of the seventh Imam, and so on and so forth. So you will find that already contradicts. Now think about the hadith, the narration before that, where he says that it is not for me to make halal what is haram and vice versa, but whoever angers her angers me. Now think about it. The Holy Prophet had married more than one wife, so it was his sunnah. The Holy Quran also allows for it. Then how can he say and how can he discredit or disallow somebody else, his son-in-law Imam Ali, to do the same thing? If Imam Ali really wanted to get married to Juwairiya, why object? Because it was his sunnah. So again we see a contradiction there. What else do we see? The Holy Prophet is talking about what? What do they say? That if he wants to marry Juwairiya, then he must divorce my daughter. Divorce? The most detested thing in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said it's about divorce. What Amar bil Ma'ruf is the Holy Prophet doing here? Hence, it already discredits, it defames the Holy Prophet when they say this kind of statements. How can they say something like that to the Holy Prophet? Then one more thing is, one more saying in that hadith, it says that the Holy Prophet said that I fear that Fatima will do fitna and go away from the religion. This is also in the hadith. Open the Sahih Bukhari, you will find it. Now think about it. How would the Holy Prophet say something like that when the Holy Quran, so the Ayat al-Tadhir is brought down in reference to the Holy Lady Fatima. When we see the Mubahila, Nisa'na wa Nisa'akum, is who? Bi Fatima. When we see the Surah Dar in reference to who? The Ahlul Bayt, who? Bi Fatima. Ayat al-Muwaddah, who? Reference to Bi Fatima. This kind of reference which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will talk about the Bibi Fatima who will run away from religion. Where are we leading to? And so it is very important that we examine any hadith that comes before us. We should always examine it. Hence, this was the times during the times of the Khulafa that an industry had been developed where people were manufacturing hadiths. Why? Due to their enmity towards Imam Ali. And not only Imam Ali, to the Ahlul Bayt, to Bibi Fatima. And where do we find that? There is one narration, one story which I will conclude my majlis tonight. It's about the marriage of Imam Ali to Bibi Fatima. There were several men who came to seek the daughter of the Holy Prophet. Several men. Among them was Abu Bakr himself, Umar as well, and of course several other men. Now we find about in our books and their books. What do we find now in our books? It's clearly mentioned that they came and the Prophet denied them. What did the Holy Prophet say? I'm waiting for a divine command to signal that the Holy Prophet, the Holy Lady Fatima's wedding will only take by the permission and by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not by himself. Hence, Abu Bakr went away and told Umar. Umar said, let me go and try. Umar came and tried, again he was rejected. Several men after that came and tried. The Holy Prophet always said, I'm waiting for the divine command. You will find that also in their books, but you also find in their books something where they say that the Holy Prophet said that she's too young for you. She's too young for you. This is what they say in some of the books. But again, of course, the books also mention that he was waiting for the divine command. But again, you can dispute the fact that how could they say that she was young? The Holy Prophet himself, between him and Khadija, there was an age range. They said that Umar had married the daughter of Imam Ali, Kulsum. What age range was that? Umar wanted to marry the mother of Kulsum. He did not care now he married the daughter of the Fatima. Where we can see the weakness stands itself in the content, the narration, in the context. This is where we are blessed with our scholars who have gone into the science of hadith and explained us and got us the Sahih hadith. Praises I want Salat Allah Muhammad wa time came for the Imam Ali when the proposal reached the Holy Prophet, and he said that the Holy Lady had noted the acceptance, and hence there was the divine command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the marriage was proclaimed. Done. A bit of history about this, about the marriage, and thus we conclude for tonight, is that when it came to the marriage of Imam Ali, the Holy Prophet asked Imam Ali, what is it that you can give for mahar? So Imam Ali said that I only have a camel, a sword, and a shield. So the Holy Prophet said, keep your camel, you will need it during the times of irrigation so that you can be self-sufficient for time in the future. The second thing is keep your sword because you will need to defend Islam. The third thing was what? The sword. He said, sell the shield. Sell your shield. From that Imam Ali sold his shield, about 500 dirhams. He bought about 500 bishkals and he gave that as mahar to Bibi Fatima. And that is how the mahar of Bibi Fatima came. The Holy Prophet went to Bibi Fatima and gave also some series of gifts. What did he give? One of the gifts? He gave her a beautiful dress. When time came for the marriage, a beggar came to the Bibi Fatima and asked for something. And she saw that she already had a normal dress, and she saw that the Holy Prophet has given her a beautiful dress. She remembered the ayat of the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You will not attain reward until you give out of love, you give in the way of Allah that which you love. So she removed her dress and she gave it away. Of course, the Holy Prophet was pleased with that. Again, Fatima badal to me. Time came for the wedding. The wedding was held. Now, it's important. It's important that we learn something from here. That when we come to marriage, we do not have to be exorbitant. We don't have to be demanding, especially when it comes to mahar. We don't have to be exaggerated weddings, ceremonies. We have to learn from what Imam Ali and Bi Fatima did. Now, every daughter has a wish that during the time of their wedding, either before the wedding or even after the wedding, rather both, to be with their mother. A daughter wants to be next to her mother before she parts away from the house. After the marriage is done, then she goes and seeks the blessing. But Bi Fatima was very unfortunate, because Bi Fatima, her mother Bi Khadija had passed away 12 years ago. Bi Fatima did not have anybody during the time of her wedding. And imagine the lessons that we are learning from her. Bi Fatima, after the wedding also, she had nobody to go to. She only had her Rasulullah. Where was Bibi Khadija? Bibi Khadija had passed away 12 years ago. We go back 12 years during the time of Bibi Khadija, and we should remember her. That this mother of the Holy Lady. And when it was time for her to pass on from this world, she had exhausted all her wealth in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the purpose of the spreading of the religion of Islam through her husband, the Holy Prophet. They had achieved that. It's so much poverty at that time that it is said that when Rasulullah wanted to prepare the kafan for Bibi Khadija, there wasn't sufficient cloth. If he would try to cover the front part, the later part would not be covered. If he would try to pull to get the bottom part covered, the top part would not be covered. And hence he recited and he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He told Allah, please guide me, what do I need to do right now? At that time, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do? He sent Jibreel with 5 kafan. He sent Jibreel with 5 kafan. Rasulullah asked Jibreel, you have brought me 5 kafan. I can believe one is for my wife Khadija. Tell me who are the second kafan for. He said, the second kafan is for you, because you will pass on from this world. He said, who is the third kafan for? He said, the third kafan is for your daughter Fatima. She will soon pass away 6 months after your death. Then he asked, what is the fourth kafan for? So he said, what is the fourth kafan for? He said, the fourth kafan is for Imam Ali. When he passes on from this world, he will need one kafan. And he says, what is the fifth kafan for? He said, the fifth kafan is for Imam Hassan alayhi salam, because he will pass on from this world, he will need that kafan. Then Rasulullah turns to Jibreel and says, oh Jibreel, where is the kafan for my Hussein? Where is the kafan for my grandson Hussein? And Jibreel looks at Rasulullah and tells, oh Rasulullah, there is no kafan will be required for your grandson. Rasulullah asks why. He says, because on the day will come when the hoofs of the horses of the Umayyah will trample on the body of Abu Abdullah, and hence he will not need a kafan. And that's exactly what happened. Imagine, my brothers and sisters, Jibreel is foretelling the story of the event of Karbala to the Holy Prophet on the death of Hazrat Khadija. He is foretelling what is going to happen to his grandson. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to learn the ways and the messages of Rasulullah and the ways of the Masumeen alayhi salam, and bihaqqi Fatima Zahra sallallahu alayha, to forgive all our sins of all the Muslimin, of all the Mu'mineen, Mu'minat, Muslimin, Muslimat, and of course learn the tawfiq to be better serving Muslims. Surah Al-Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.